Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to our sixth episode of Conversation with Joe. Today we're going to welcome Miss Adana Wellington. She's going to discuss with her latest book. I can't wait to share the topic with you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to add her on the call and hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me.
You look radiant as
Oh,
usual.
thank you so much. So do you. I see the sun is kissing. The sun
I
kiss.
know, right? We took it outside today.
Ah,
All right. So welcome. Thank you for joining us, and we're gonna get straight to it. Could you talk to us about the book that you just published earlier this year?
absolutely. So the book is called Melanin Adultin, Breaking Childhood Habits, and basically just talks about different habits that we acquired throughout childhood to protect us from just traumatic experiences or negative experiences that we may have had in our lives. And so because these habits were to protect us as children and they were useful for that point, but as an adult is not so useful because you end up being guarded and you end up doing things that is not conducive to having positive relationships. And so this book talks about the different signs of different habits, such as people pleasing, like what does that really look like? The origin based on why this is happening, why do you people please? And then also tips and strategies on how to break that people pleasing habit. So it's all found in this book. We have definitely have affirmations. I have places where you can write. Here is the cover. I know it's early, but you can see it.
Yay! All
Yes.
right. So, while I was going through the chapter, I know it's a very sensitive and interesting topic. So, I wanted to ask you what made you decide to write about this subject? Like, what was the pivoting moment that was like, yes, I got it. This is what I need to talk about and share with the people.
Absolutely. It was definitely my own work that I was doing, my own self-love journey, as well as the different clients that I was having conversations with. I was realizing that the common theme that we all had is that our issues were in relationships. And so me just being a curious person, I just decided to figure out why is this happening? You know, why are we displaying these different behaviors? Where are they deriving from? And then I realized that they derive from childhood experiences. And then I started exploring the idea of habits and what does that mean. And now I started also reflecting on my own and some of my own habits that I've created for myself that impacted me later on in life. And that was really the catalyst of this book. And so some of those habits that I have, I actually do talk about in the book as well.
Mm. So it was very like an open heart to heart book with everybody and very
Absolutely.
personal.
Yeah, I wanted this to be a conversation, not, me lecturing or just talking at people, telling people what to do and how to conduct themselves. I wanted it to be, I'm just like you. I have my own experiences. I have my own work that I have to do that I'm still continuing to do to this day and to encourage and uplift others.
Amazing. That's great. So my next question, I know you share with us, where the book came from, what's
Yes.
in there, the main topic. But for somebody who's right now listening to you,
Mhm.
what what will make them pick Melanin Adultin from all the other books out there right now on on trauma and abuse and everything else?
Absolutely. So this is, like I said, is a conversational book. It's a short read. It's not that long. It has images. It definitely has affirmations that I have placed in the book. They have places where you can write. I have people who told me they've read it all in one sitting. So it's really, and it's has so much information, but it's not overwhelming. So I don't use clinical terms. Yes, I am. I do have an MSW, but I don't think I need to use that in order to convey what I'm trying to say. So
I'll need a dictionary to be like, wait a minute, let me look that up. What's that word again?
no dictionary, because I have a problem with that sometimes when I'm reading and I'm like, dang it, what does this mean? And you're stopping every 2 seconds. So because of that, I don't do that to anybody. No pulling out the dictionary.
That's great. That's good to know. All right, people. Mon Louis one says it's a very interactive and a good strategy. And
Thank
thumbs up.
you. Thank you.
All right. So, would you mind share with us the people who inspired you on your journey, like people you look up to, and kind of help you get to where you are right now?
Wow, I think I had several mentors that didn't know me, but I looked up to them. One being Mary J. Blige. That's someone that I've always looked up to as a kid. She's someone who I saw who was inspirational, who's been through some things, but continues to persevere and move forward. And she doesn't let anything stop her. And so that really encouraged me through her music, growing up as a teenager, listening to all those hits and everything. So,
Yeah.
she really inspired me to just keep moving forward. And I resonated with her realness and her transparency. And so that's also what I try to convey as well, realness and transparency. And also my mom, she's definitely a big inspiration to me as well. Being an immigrant woman coming to this country, starting a life for herself, building a life for herself, building a life for her children, and just continuing to persevere. She's also definitely an inspiration of mine as well.
I hope you told her that already, right?
Yes, of course. Of course.
Awesome. Okay, so what's the best thing? What would you say is the most important thing that you learned in your lives so far? And how was your life before you learned that thing? And what's different it really makes in your life? It's like a 3-part question.
Oh, okay. So let's start with the first part. So,
All right.
what has impacted my life?
The most important things that you think, yeah.
Wow. When I just discovered the idea of self-love and was able to understand what that really meant and how I had a different perception of what self-love was. And so once I was able to re-educate myself and to continue to, have that growth mindset and shift my way of thinking, then I continued to move in my self-love journey and discovered other things and, discovered that there's still things that I'm dealing with that I still have to continue to, work on. And it's okay. So that's definitely was a pivotal moment a pivotal moment for me.
That's interesting that you're mentioning that, because I realize a lot of people, myself included, we think we love ourselves because we grew up hearing stuff like you need to love yourself, you cannot love nobody else,
right?
If you don't love yourself, and you're like, I do love myself, and then you find yourself in situation and the way you're dealing with them, and like you put yourself through them, and you say, like, I don't think I love myself the way I should, right? If I love myself, I should protect myself, carry myself a certain way, and, take care of myself. So self-care is definitely very important. And I know, especially in our community, they don't really, it's not something that they really talk about and they promote.
Right.
And a lot of women feel guilty to take time for themselves and take care of themselves.
Right, because of the, strong Black women, we persevere, we keep it moving, we're so resilient.
You don't complain. You don't cry, keep everything inside, straight face, I'm strong. Yeah.
That's us,
all right.
But we know that's not true,
Not at all. Inside we're dying. And keep the straight face and keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my next question, right? It's an interesting one. People always smile when I get to this one. So what's the best?
Oh my goodness.
What's the best compliment you ever get, like, so far?
That I'm encouraging, that my material, my content, just you know, a couple of days ago, somebody, Michael, we worked with each other in H&M like 10 years ago.
Wow.
And he DM'd me and was like, you know, congratulations. I see you doing your thing. Continue to, you know, you're inspiration to us all. Just continue to move forward and push forward. And that really touched me. You know, I needed that boost to, you know that, okay, this is what I'm purposed to do. Let me continue to move forward in this, you know, even if it's
And
not easy.
yeah, and somebody's always listening. Somebody's
Mhm.
always watching,
Right.
even when you don't. And you don't know who you're reaching out to. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
next question. What would you say?
Every
What
time
would
you
you
say
say?
next question, I'm like,
I know, right? What
here
would
we
you
go.
say is your biggest achievement so far?
Wow. I have a few. I think that what stands out to me the most I would say, would be my book, publishing my book, Melanin Adultin. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be an author. I wrote it down in journals when I was younger. I've been writing all my life. So to be able to have a material of work, to see my name on it, to,
Uh,
you know that I put my heart into it, that's my greatest achievement. I'll definitely say that. Yeah.
it's very rewarding.
Hmm.
Never give up.
Thank
Always
you.
stay focused.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you could talk to your 18 years old self right now, what would you tell her?
Hmm. Be yourself and don't worry about what people think about you. You know, that was one of my people pleasing habits. I
Mm.
needed validation from others. I needed people to like me and to accept me because in fact I was insecure and I had low self-worth. So I looked at other people externally to provide me with that self-worth. And obviously that doesn't work well. That's not a long-term positive strategy to live your life. And so, you know, I talk about that in the book as well and the work that I did in order to just push past that. And so that would be the number one thing I would say to my 18-year-old self. You know, just don't worry about what people say. You don't need validation from anyone.
Yeah.
You are enough.
And I think all of us, we kind of go through that phase at some point,
Right.
being young, and we always see the outside. We know what people let us see, but
Hmm.
we want them to live their life because we're thinking they're living their best life, but
Right.
deep inside, you never know what somebody's going through. That's, something that I learned for myself too,
Hmm.
like how to not let you be affected by what you see, because what you see is not necessarily this mean it's what it is, what the reality
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
That's great advice. It's great stuff. I love it.
Thank you.
um Another tricky one, right?
Oh, dum dum dum.
What is something that people seems to misunderstand about you?
Ooh, that is a tricky. I like that. All right. So I would definitely say people would maybe assume that I'm always extroverted. And actually, I'm an introverted person. You know, I
Mm.
guess because I do Instagrams and I do, you know, I publicly speak and, you know, I do all these things, people assume that that's just me. I'm always like full of personality and outgoing, which I am. That is a part of me, but I'm also very introverted as well, you know.
Mm. Could never tell.
Right? See? Who would have thought it? I could be by myself, you know, or I could be, you know, with one or two people. Like I don't need to be out, you know. So I'm very in that way. So it's interesting that I even have a book that is so
Mm.
transparent because that's not really my really like natural internal instinct to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you opening up to the world and putting yourself out there like that
Right. That level of
and being
vulnerability.
vulnerable.
Yes, that's new to me. So I'm continuing to work through that even as I go through this process. You know, I'm working, that's an example of me working through my own stuff as well. Um, there's some things that I've dealt with. There's some things that I'm still moving towards. This is one of them, that level of vulnerability, where each time that I do it, it gives me confidence to continue to do it, you know, and know that
That's,
it's helping people and people are agreeing to it and people
yeah,
are, you know, encouraged by it. Then that's what I strive for.
it's all part of the growing process.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Dana, where do you see yourself in a couple of years?
Ooh, I like that. So I see myself definitely married, children, bigger business, um, definitely having my own practice, you know. So those are my five, like right off the rip, you know. That's where I see myself in the next few years. My own, you know, therapy practice. That's something I definitely am working towards right now. And so that's I'm looking forward to that.
Amazing. Show us again the cover of your book for the people who's just
Yeah,
joining us,
absolutely.
and let us know, let everybody know where we can get our copy for those who didn't get it yet.
Yeah, so you could get Melanin Adultin Breaking Childhood Habits from Amazon. The link is in my bio. You can follow me at Adana the Truth, all one word, ADANATHA Truth. And you can find the link to the ebook as well as the paperback. Hmm.
Okay, we just have one question will pop up for you. I'm gonna take it real quick.
Sure.
It said, how do you feel about the heart therapy?
I feel it is a great expressive tool in order to, you know, express yourself in a creative way. I definitely do appreciate that sort of therapy where some people are not good at articulating their words, but they're better at art. And so I'm all for it.
Yeah, and some people are more creative than others, and they, all of us, we have our own different way of expression. Like
Right,
some of us are writers, poet. So, I feel like you just gotta find what's best for you, what's working for you, because what's good
right.
for me and working for me might be different for somebody else.
Absolutely.
And like to me, art therapy is very relaxing, and
Yeah,
it takes me to different places where I can get my emotion down, get my thought together. So yeah,
absolutely.
and my next and last questions
Okay.
is, I know you're on Facebook and Instagram, but for those people who might have further question, or more interested about expressing themselves, and as you mentioned, also you're a therapist, so
Mhm.
if they would not mind reaching out to you, talk to you about their concern, question, issues, where can they find you?
Absolutely. You can find me at adanathetruth@gmail.com. Just email me. You could DM me on Facebook, Adana Wellington, and at IG, Adana the Truth. DM me. I answer all my DMs. So definitely reach out. I love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's all I had today for you,
Thank
right? For you
you for
guys.
having me.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your time. It's been a lot happening in our life
Yes,
these days,
yes,
a lot of different changes, but you
yes,
still find the time to come and
yes.
talk to us about your book. And I really encourage everybody who's listening right now to get a copy, because trauma is something that, for some reason, we don't want to talk about it, we don't want to face it. Um, Most of us, based on our different background and culture, we've learned to kind of like hide our emotion, and
Right,
things piles up and then they explode. So if you're looking for, steps, ways of expression, and help, and reach out to Dana.
yes.
She's here, right? She's very knowledgeable. She's a therapist, right? I have to mention that again. Um So feel free to reach out to her with your questions. And once again, thank you guys for being with us this afternoon for our sixth episode. And I hope you enjoy being with us. And we'll see you next week. And thanks again, Sadana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.